G'day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at how the TEQ Android 16 performs in Extreme Super Battle Road. So TEQ Android 16 is going to be run on a Resurrected Warriors team. We only really have one other Android on the team, so he's nowhere near his full power that he could be at, but it'll be a good representation of how he performs mechanically for things like Super Battle Road and Esbr. So we can see that he's got 113,000 defense, which obviously is a pretty decent starting point. He will raise his attack and defense greatly for one turn on his super attack, and he also builds up his attack based on how many times he is hit while his guard is activated. He also has a high chance of activating guard. Now, obviously, high chance of activating guard, as we discussed in the review, is a somewhat, I don't want to say risky, but can sometimes be a little bit irritating. Because obviously if that guard activates, they take dramatically less damage than they would if the guard doesn't activate, which is obviously very important. But it does make it a little bit risky to rely on that guard ability activating. So that is something that is quite a little bit annoying from that perspective. And another thing that is a little bit irritating is the fact that he doesn't gain attack when he's hit. He gains attack when his guard is activated. So what that means is if he is hit 6 times but his guard is not activated, then those will not count as hits. However, if his guard is activated, then obviously they will count as hits and his guard will have activated 6 times. So it's a little bit annoying just because especially if you have multiple androids on the team, sometimes he can defend really well and you'll want to put him in slots and have him take damage, but the guard won't activate, so his damage will just not rise. Now, as we could see in the review and as you will see throughout this video, his attack damage is incredibly higher when he gets those stacks built up. So once he gets a couple attacks in on him, once his guard is activated multiple times, his attack damage can rise from 1.4 million to 2 million very quickly. And yeah, it's not to say that it takes away from him. It just, coupled with the fact that his guard is only a high chance, it does just kind of lower his ceiling, so to say. If he was gaining his attack while getting hit, then you would definitely see a much improved performance from him, and you would see his attack be a lot more regulated. And I think that's the only change. I think what they could have done is they could have either made his passive be that he has guard all the time, or they could have made his passive be that he gains the attack on hit. So they could have made it like he has guard all of the time, and then he doesn't gain as much attack, because obviously he would then be a very exceptional tank. Or they could leave his guard as is, but they make it so that he gains his damage on hit. That would have been the best situation for me, at least from what I'm seeing, based off of using him, based off of what I've seen. But yeah, it's just, barring that, it's pretty straightforward. He's very good for SBR and ESBR. He has a very good starting defense. He greatly raises attack and defense for one turn. So by getting that super attack, you basically ensure that he can tank exceptionally well. And that high chance to guard really does come in handy. Obviously, it's difficult to fully rely on it, but it still will rapidly reduce the amount of damage, especially if he is to get hit by a super attack and it activates. So yeah, that is pretty important, obviously, and very evident to how he's meant to be run. On the Resurrected Warriors team, you do have the ability to run him alongside Cell, which does help him a little bit because they share the Gentleman's key link. So by sharing the Gentleman's link, they actually share a key link, which is somewhat difficult to do with Android 16 since his only key links are Revival and Gentleman, and Mechanical Menace, but that link is, I don't want to say impossible, but it's just very unlikely to get. So yeah, that's the thing. He essentially is just, as you can see there from his attack, by the way, having procced multiple times, now his attack stat is way higher. Yeah, he, generally speaking, has decent enough options. You can run some more cells on the team, and that distinctly will make him a lot better. But he only really shares 2 links with cells, so I don't really know if you want to build the entire team around Android 16. He's not going to be able to carry the entire team. He would definitely be a super helpful unit in the Android's ESBR, and I think that's where he'll really shine, like a lot. But yeah, on the Resurrected Warriors ESBR, obviously he's doing a pretty solid job. I wouldn't say he's not obviously carrying the team from a damage perspective, but he's definitely doing a very good job as a pseudo tank. You can probably get better results out of him if you essentially ran him with a couple more androids. That would really help. If you could activate the Tough as Nails link, that would also help. But there's not too much more you can do to obviously make him personally shine. A lot of it's going to depend on whether he activates his guard or not. And just, yeah, in most parts, it's just going to be how many attacks he can get off with that guard activated so that he can then have a high damage stat. As you could see in the previous fight, once he does get that guard activated, his damage stat can rise quite significantly. And it can go from 1.3, 1.4 million to over 2 million relatively quickly, which is obviously a good thing from his perspective, but for people that are using him, that's generally the aim. The aim is to have him take those attacks. And we'll see here in this turn how he goes against Trunks and Goten. You can see his guards activated here. Obviously, if you're fighting an AGL type unit, his guard will activate automatically, and you can see that in terms of his attack damage, 1.9 million, which is very good. And yeah, that is his one big perk. Like, once he starts activating that attack damage, he'll definitely be able to get some really good attack stats out, which is obviously great. And he just does a pretty decent job. He's a super reliable unit. He tanks really well. The more androids you have, the better a tank he's gonna be. And yeah, if that guard procs, he's just a super helpful unit. Because of his link set, I honestly would prefer him to just be a floating unit if you are going to use him. A floating tank that you can kind of just shuffle around to get better results. Or better tanking, or have him soak up some damage. That's going to be where I see him thrive as a unit, because his link set is so wonky that you're not really going to get like a super impressive performance if you just keep trying to utilize him as your main tank. Yeah, he can do damage and he can tank, but his link pairing means the unit you're going to stick next to him is generally not going to be doing great. I mean, if you look at Cell, for example, Cell has some really powerful links and he has big bad bosses, and he should be doing a lot more damage, but because we're pairing him with Android 16, he's just not getting that same level of efficiency out that he would be. So yeah, beyond that, I definitely think that he's doing pretty good. I think he's a really valuable unit. I think he's a good cog piece in any team. He's only really on crossover Resurrected Warriors and androids and artificial life forms. But on artificial life forms and androids, you should have a much easier time getting him to perform to a much higher level of capacity. He should generally be able to perform relatively well on an androids team, and quite powerfully so. But yeah, I think we've seen pretty good representation of him in this scenario on a Resurrected Warriors team. Obviously, the restriction is only having Cell, so that does hinder his ability and his power quite a bit. But I think this guy's got a great EZA. It added some needed abilities to him. It increased his offensive capability, increased his stats, which he really needed. He had a very good toolkit before. The increase in his defense made him a solid enough unit on an Android team back in the day, but this change has made him way more viable. He has attack damage now. Once he builds up, he has tanking ability now. Well, pretty much from the get-go. He has the greatly raising defense and attack on his super attack. He has just so much going on in terms of his ability and his kit now that goes along with his guard ability. So before, where he was pretty much just he was a good tank back in the day that slowly became a somewhat mediocre tank. He's now just a lot better overall and a lot more useful overall and just does a lot more overall. So these kind of EZAs are very good because they obviously just make units a lot more viable. They make them a lot more interesting. They make them help fill in gaps on teams. So now the Androids team has a very solid tanking unit, and it was kind of needing one. The only real issue is his link set. As mentioned before, it's somewhat of an issue just because he only really has Gentleman and he has Revival as his main link sets. Mechanical Menace is not really a good link set. I don't want to say it's a good link set, so yeah. But we'll see how he tanks here. So obviously he's on rotation with Cell. We've got a full health bar. He's got a decent amount of defense. We're not going to use an item. And we're just going to see how he tanks without an item, without anything. He's not getting support from Frieza either, because this Android 16 doesn't have target Goku or anything like that. So we'll see how he tanks. Hopefully his guard activates, and then we'll see how he does. He will be able to super attack beforehand, so we're not going to see his defense pre-super, but that's okay. So we'll see here, he'll greatly raise his defense, and he should tank really well if he gets his guard. He shouldn't really have any big issues. And there we go, single digits, double digits, perfect. So right there, no item. Obviously didn't take any attacks beforehand, but only with one Android, so pretty good overall. Just a very, very solid performance. So I think we've seen everything we need to see from him. I don't think there's anything else that we absolutely have to see in terms of Android 16. So let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think for Android 16? Are you glad he got his EZA? Are you happy he got his Extreme Z Awakening? Have you used him? Have any of you guys used him to clear content? What content did you use him to clear? Things like that. I'd like to hear, if people use these units or not, because obviously it's just interesting to me to see if they gain greater traction after their EZAs. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, and bye.